Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. In this episode, I have a great Beachbody super trainer, Joel Freeman, on here. He has so many tips. Really excited. Stay tuned. Hey there, my friend. Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, The Power of Possibility, Passion, and Purpose. And I'm so excited for an interview with Joel Freeman, Beachbody super trainer and just an all-around great guy. You might be following him on his Instagram at Joel Freeman Fitness. And just, I'm so excited to get in here because the tips that he shares are golden, especially if you're someone that's just starting out or questioning whether weight training is for you, especially as you get older, or you're just beginning your fitness journey, or just looking to lean out, or even if you're a runner. He tackles a lot of these great questions here, and also shares his story on how he got into the fitness world and became a super trainer. So let's get to it. Hey there, Joel Freeman is on the Power Blast podcast, The Power of Possibility, Passion, and Purpose. Welcome, Joel. Glad to have you on here, buddy.
Hey, Perry, thanks for having me, man. I love it, and I love being on podcasts. This is fun. It's fun for me. It's not normal, but I like it.
Wow, that's
used to the coach calls and stuff, so this is cool.
Well, hopefully it'll bring value, get people a little peek inside what it is that you do, other than, following you on Instagram everywhere.
It's pretty much, well, this is going to be a short podcast because that's it, man. That's all I post what I do, and there's not much more to it, so. But we'll come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah. At Joel Freeman Fitness is on is the Instagram one. Well, very cool. So I would love to hear a story. I mean, I don't know that I know all of it. I know when you came onto the scene with Beachbody stuff with Les Mills Pump, and I think people always remembered the dirty chest, with the chest presses and stuff. I think that was like a hashtag forever.
And most people have no idea what it meant. I didn't even know what it meant when I said it. Like, I go back and watch those videos. I mean, like, I haven't seen it in a long time either, but like, I remember when that first came out, and then like the hashtag, that was also right when hashtags kind of first started becoming popular. And I just remember someone like that hashtag started popping around up into the social media world. And I was like, what the hell is this? And so I went back and then realized what it was coming off of, and then was watching it. I was like, dirty chest, what the hell is dirty chest? And then didn't even know why I said it. It was just one of those random, while you're filming, sounded good at the time, and then you go back and watch yourself later and you're like, what was wrong with me? So but yeah, a lot of people, I mean, especially in the new coaching world too, people don't even know what Les Mills Pump is because it's not even available anymore.
No, it's not, but it's a phenomenal program and stuff. So what's your story? Not even the Beachbody stuff. How did you get into the fitness stuff? Have you always been in there and growing up in Southern California, that type of stuff? Or?
No, man, I've been all over the place. So I grew up actually in West Texas, and small town in West Texas with my mom out there. But originally from Southern California. All my family lives out here except for my mom, who lives in Texas. And so went back and forth. My dad lives here, my mom lives there, and so went back and forth over the years. And then growing up most of my life though in West Texas, graduated high school, and then went to Texas Tech for a few years up in Lubbock, Texas, and just I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have any. Wasn't tied to anything. I changed my major like every semester because I just wasn't feeling anything. I was bartending. I was at night. I was building houses during the day, doing construction, and just having a good time in college, man. I was living the college life, and but the college life that's not productive, like I didn't go to class sort of thing. I just did all the other stuff. I just didn't have any ties to it. I didn't have any, I didn't have any passion, didn't have any career in mind. And then you can bartend at 18, starting at 18 in Texas. You could have been, I don't know if you still can, but so I was having a great time doing that, especially, 19 years old and you're bartending, that's awesome. And having fun. And then later on at 19, later in that year, I was just like, I needed a different job. Like the construction during the day, I wasn't really enjoying that, and just need more money. So I actually took a job at a front desk position at a gym. And that was my first gym job, was the front desk. It was a 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift. It was the graveyard shift. Ooh. And so you can imagine, you see some interesting things / people who work out at 3 a.m.
There were a lot.
There's not a lot, people? But they're the ones that do are interesting. So, we'd have the diehards, and the gym was across the street from a hospital. So, we always had like doctors and nurses come in, but not all of them were doctors and nurses. So it was interesting. You had like the hardcore people. And so it was a very quick learning experience. And especially because it was that shift, I had to know how to do everything. Usually when you work the front desk, your job requirements are about this big, but since I was the only one there at night, I had to learn how to do everything. So I learned how to fix equipment. I learned how to sell memberships and everything. So it was really it was a crash course in working in a gym very quickly. And then it just kind of morphed from there. It started to evolve from there. Became the morning manager, and then became the sales manager. And it just was one of those things that I've always been good at talking with people and creating conversation and getting to know people. So doing memberships and everything was just really easy for me. And I was good at it. The business side of it. Wasn't into the health aspect of it. I mean, I would sell a gym membership and then go smoke a cigarette on my break. And then come back and there you go. So it was interesting from that standpoint. But and then a couple years or about a year into that, I moved up to Washington State and got out of Texas. I was ready to leave and met a girl and moved up to Washington. That old chestnut. Followed the girl up there, and then that didn't work out. But I stayed up there. And long story short, up there, I was in Washington State, in Olympia, Washington, for 8 years, and it just kept snowballing from there on the business side of it. And then worked for the Washington State Department of Health for 4 years. Helped create some really cool programming there. But I was always into group exercise, and that's where I had started teaching Les Mills classes, Body Pump, Body Combat, all those programs, and in Washington. And through that, met all the people. National trainers and whatnot. And that's how I ended up going into, working in the photo aspect of it, doing all the photo shoots with Les Mills and stuff. And we were in Auckland, New Zealand, where they're based out of, working there. That's when they were casting for Les Mills Pump. Didn't even know it, just happened to be there. Got casted for that. So it just seriously just kept going and going in. And a lot of it was the right place at the right time, I'll be honest with you. And just kept, always having those conversations. I always tell people, it's like, just continue to have conversations. Don't be afraid to talk to people about opportunities, because you never know where it comes out of or what could come of it. And then through all those connections that I made, late 2011, I got a text when I was living up in Washington saying, "Hey, are you interested in taking a group X director position in LA?" I'm like, "I'd love to come back to LA." And came down, did the interview, and was moved down here in 2 weeks. From then, just whatever didn't fit in my car, I sold it, I gave it away, and it was time to start fresh. And so in late 2011, I moved back down to LA and worked for Gold's Gym for a while. And at the same time, I was always having conversations with Beachbody. I was helping develop the Beachbody Live formats. P90X Live was one of the first, the Gold's Gyms that I worked at. Two of the gyms, we were the first ones to trial that years ago, before anybody even knew that it was coming. So, it was just always in the office, always chatting. And then just randomly one day I got a call from Carl and saying, "Hey, what do you think about coming over and creating a MMA program," which later became Core to Force, and having Jericho come. And we were like, what the hell, let's do it. And then, pretty much then the rest is history from there. I think everybody knows the rest of the story at that point.
Wow. That is so cool. You hit on a few things. I think, yeah, I mean, I think being open to different opportunities and having those conversations, I can relate on many levels with that. I can relate to the college scene too. Yeah, right. Wow, that's pretty remarkable how that's going. I'm excited to see where things snowball for you in the future, but given your history. That's really cool. So you talked about, I mean, a little bit about being able to connect with people and stuff in the group fitness world. You and Jericho really, really connect super well in just about anything you do. But did that stem from like Les Mills training, or is it just something that just naturally just kept evolving your skills? Or how? I mean, you just really, and you connect with people, even the people on set, when you're going through LIIFT4 and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that comes from definitely. Look, Les Mills is one of the if not the best group exercise companies in the world. They've been doing this for years, and they excel at it, and their training and the way they train their instructors and the way they continue to upskill their instructors is still top notch. It's still one of the best in the world. And so, yeah, a lot of where I learned how to, it's one thing to have the personality traits to be a group exercise instructor, you know, and that definitely is one of the benefits, or one of the traits that Jericho and I that's where our experience comes from, is the ability to connect with people, is because we've been for 10 years before we came into this world of Beachbody, we were teaching group exercise. And so we got used to that feeling versus a lot of times coming into this world, it's more of like a one-on-one, a lot of personal training. Then you have to teach to big groups of people, and that doesn't always translate. So for us, it was a little bit easier to go from a big group of people into a smaller group of people. So yeah, a lot of it comes from just having the personality traits and the charisma. I think there has to be a level of charisma and confidence to go out there and the ability to wow a crowd and try to draw them in, to not feel that you're speaking at them, you're speaking to them and directly at them, and make that one person in the back of the room feel like they're still a part of it. That takes practice, and we did that for a very long time, and that definitely helped. And then we got some amazing training from Les Mills, and they still do it, and I'm very appreciative of all the trains that I got and all the instruction I got, and then it's now taking it to the next level in which can be a challenge of trying to get that across this way, just through a camera, into the home world. So that's been challenging. We've learned a lot from doing the way we did it with Les Mills Pump, not as much because that was still a bigger thing, ensemble cast, and we still had a live workout audience when we filmed that. But when we did Quarter Force, that was a big learning experience for both Jericho and I. It was almost like a crash course in home video, and it was also right in the middle of the transitions where we were still doing DVDs, so we were tied to disk space. They were still talking about the infomercial and this and that, and then now moving forward, so like LIIFT4 was even I took all the stuff that I learned from everything that I had done, and all the barriers and this and that, and then really put it into LIIFT4. And I think the program speaks for itself in all those learnings and the successes that have come with it.
Yeah, It was very refreshing with LIIFT4, at least from my perspective, because in the groups that I'm a part of and have led with, just the 10 reps. That's just kind of a nice, solid, comforting rep count to go. You can get to 10, and the 4 days and the rest, and just how it's customizable. Was that your brainchild, or was it Carl's? How did you guys do that?
Yeah. So that was definitely, it was a couple of things. Number one, I definitely call it my passion project. It was one of those things like, if I could create my ultimate dream program, what would it look like? And this is it. LIIFT4 is it. So it was always something I had in the back of my mind of what I wanted to create. If I was to create a solo program, it was part of a lot of conversations that Carl and I had leading into this project years before. Lifting, if not a lot of people know about it, but on Beachbody On Demand under trainer exclusives, I have a lift and hit, which is a 20-minute, or like, it's not even 20, it's like 17-minute express full body workout. And we filmed that a year before I even started working on LIIFT4. That was the test. That was a tester. That was that's how far back it goes. We were like, let's see what people think of this. And that was also an opportunity to do. That was also, we were filming the first time, doing a live filming before, all the, Sean Week and Week of Hard Labor and everything came out. So that was what that was. So, so the cool thing was Carl was on the exact same page as I was with all of it, of wanting to create something that was a little outside the box in terms of weekly requirements. Usually we create a 5, 6, 7 day a week program, and for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is, and that can tend to be a little overwhelming for some people. And this was something I was really passionate about bringing all of everything that I've learned over the years of selling gym memberships and personal training and talking with people about their barriers, and the same thing the coaches hear on a daily basis of people, time constraints, money constraints, family constraints, all these different things. And they're they come down to be excuses, which are legitimate at times, but they're real. It's real life. And that was what I wanted to create, was something that didn't just say, okay, you guys say goodbye to those excuses. I was like, let's create something that gives you the flexibility. Like, if you can't work out on a Monday, no problem. You still got you still got the rest of the week. You still have 4. So, and that's how we came upon 4. We went back and forth between 4 to 5 days, and even talked about 3 for a second. And it was like, let's do 4. 4 is a good number. 4 is doable. It does require a level of commitment with people, but not too much. And it gives you the flexibility. And then also based on your job, nurses work 3 12-hour shifts so that they can work and they can still get these. So it was very collaborative. I think it's one of the, I'm only speaking for myself. I think how good it is, it speaks to how on the same page everyone at the company was when we developed it, when I was writing it, when we were testing it, when we filmed it. I was really, really amped about the way we filmed it. It was different than anything else before, where I'm not doing the workouts, and people were a little freaked out by that. They're like, oh my God, how come Joel's not doing the workouts? And I was like, well, this is not for me. This is for you. And so I really wanted to come at it from a personal training standpoint, because of the weightlifting aspect of it, and make sure that people really get everything out of it. So it wasn't just because I was trying to be lazy and didn't want to do the workouts. It was a matter of like, look, I wanted this to feel like 32 personal training sessions, not just 32. A workout video. I mean, because there's the value in it right there too, when it comes to the product. So yeah, it was a dream program, dream team came together, and I feel pretty confident that we nailed it.
I have to agree. It came out last summer, and 1 year ago. Well, it came out in July, but
July 16th will be the anniversary of the VIP early access. So we're getting there.
It did, and I find it still my go-to, and I love that it's a program that you can hybrid with stuff. You did a hybrid with Shaun T, and that when Shaun T came out with his T20 workout, I still wanted to do the lifting stuff. So I went back to the lifting format. I didn't necessarily follow the live or the trainer, but I followed your it's shoulders day, it's arms day, whatever it was. And so it was perfect to do that and still feel engaged that way and still get the cardio effect with Shaun. But is this your, the way you train? Because I'm going to say, you and I met, my wife Hillary and I have met you a couple times at summits, and you and I met at Leadership right after the announcement of Combat. And, I've still got our picture. And then a few years later, you're with about ready to do Core de Force or even the exclusive. And this guy has bulked up quite a bit. I'm like, dang, he's hitting the weights. What is he doing? And so is that the way you train?
Yeah, it is. So I definitely gained some muscle over the years. And, going into, when we first came into Beachbody, when we did Les Mills Pump, that was kind of like the pinnacle where I was teaching a lot of group exercise classes. And, when I say a lot of classes, I mean 10 to 20 classes a week. And there's definitely a level of overtraining when it comes to teaching group exercise as instructors, because number one, you have to practice. People are like, okay, you teach your class, but a lot of times you're practicing on top of that. So I was at that point where I was teaching so much. I had muscle, but that was just, burning so many calories every single day. And then in body pump, you're lifting lighter weight, more repetition, lighter weight. So it was just a different type of body. I just had a different body type. And I grew up naturally skinny already. So I had some muscle onto that, but that was just reflective of how I was training and how I was also, not really focusing on my nutrition at all, because I was burning so many calories. I was like, in my 20s, and thanks to 20s metabolism as well, you're like, I can do whatever I want. And I was. And then over the years when I stopped teaching, and then I stopped teaching group exercise, I taught for 10 years, and my body was starting to hurt. This is late 20s, and I'm starting to get joint pain and knee pain and back pain and all this stuff. I was like, this is breaking down my body too fast. So I stopped teaching and then started focusing more on traditional weightlifting, which is 3 sets of 10 hypertrophy training. That's where the 10 reps came from. That's where the 3 sets came from, because that's just weightlifting 101. And I got back into the weight room and did that. That's all I did. I did 3 sets of 10 and worked through my reps and my weights and progressions, and went from like 175 to 205 in a year. Not a lot of cardio involved on that one. So it was a fluffy 205. I will say that, but and so that, went from this side, this one end all the way up to here, and then started to find my middle ground, which is where I live now. And, I walk around anywhere between 185, 190. And, that's what I do. I lift 4 times a week, at least, sometimes 5, depends on the week. And I still box. Boxing has become definitely a passion of mine because it's, I love keeping that speed and that agility and the cardio conditioning of it. So between weightlifting and boxing, that's my thing. And I walk around and I got a little bit more muscle now and I kind of like it. So I'm going to keep it.
Oh, that's cool. I just had, I went through the Core to Force certification. I love the MMA stuff. And I just had another friend, lady on our team who just got her certification on there. She just goes, I just love feeling like a badass when I do that program.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Core to Force. I mean, look, Core to Force is great. It's the difference between Core to Force and boxing is, Core to Force is an MMA program. It's fully encompassing MMA. We did a lot of research and trained with fighters, and I got back down into the world of like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, was rolling around and get my ass kicked on a daily basis. And that program is designed specifically how fighters train. And we're very proud of that authenticity, and we stick with that. What I do, I don't do much of that anymore. Just, still residual back issues over the years, and kicking and that type of stuff isn't always the best. I can still do. I just taught Core to Force Live 14 yesterday, filmed that. So I can do the one-offs, but from a long-term standpoint, just on the way my body type is and based on my history, I just enjoy boxing more. I'm also upper body dominant. That's also my body type. So, which it lends to boxing a little bit better too. So I got a little bit more power in my punches, and I just enjoy it. I love getting in the ring and sparring a little bit, and punches. I like not having to think about the kicks coming at my head and just dodging the punches instead. Because I've taken roundhouse shots to the head and it's not fun. So I'll stick with boxing for now.
It's something you can definitely count on and perhaps hopefully see coming. Definitely. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I totally forgot about the live format. But when I went in on some of the training, I'm like, oh, there's Jericho, and Jericho's husband is also.
Yeah, Yusuf, her husband, is our format expert for the program. He's been in the world of MMA for a long time as well, and group exercise and whatnot. So so he's our format expert, and he's still doing the choreography for all the new rounds. They're both on vacation, so that's how I got stuck with the solo film yesterday. But it's fun. I still enjoy it. It's still look, it's our baby. We have Core to Force, and then Core to Force Live. Jericho and I, we co-wrote Core to Force, and we co-wrote Core to Force Live. So and that was a big passion for us because of group exercise. It's part of our blood, it's part of our DNA, and we were really excited to create a program that went into group exercise, and we went after all the things that we used to be frustrated with in group exercise, and got rid of all of that and put it into Core to Force Live. So still definitely part of our our shared baby, so to speak.
That's so cool. I absolutely love it. It's just some fun things. And while I've only experienced a little bit of doing a live training in front of a group of people, it was a rush. So I was like, why don't I do it more? But I don't know. I think it's the practice thing and taking the time to do it. Are there, just not to switch topics a little bit, but a little bit, when it comes to people and their excuses, or people and their are there any top things that you constantly hear and find that you're addressing and helping people through, to whether it's having a breakthrough in their journey, or just getting over certain hangups or obstacles, things like that?
Yeah, I think look, right now, this day and age, the number one thing that people like to do is go to social media for opinions, for facts, for anything, which is scary, because social media has lended itself to nothing but opinions. And so there's a lot of preconceived notions about what fitness does. There's always been fashion trends. There's always been fitness trends. There's always been diet trends. But now more than ever, it's even more so available. That's why, trends pop up and then explode so quickly, because everyone's on it. Obviously, like right now, intermittent fasting is a big one, and people are just loving it. But there's so many different ways to do it. And when you get into this stuff, especially based on your body type, people are going off of what they see someone else doing and they do it versus doing the actual research themselves. And so the point of me saying that is I get a lot of questions from people just saying, hey, I heard about this, or, you know, my friend says I'm going to get bulky if I start lifting heavy weights. Is that true? Versus just if you Google it in like the top hits on Google, you can read that it's not true. And so my advice to everyone is to always like do the research, man, and crack a book, which nowadays cracking a book means go to Google and Google it, and not go to Instagram and not go to Facebook, and don't be going to social media to get opinions of things that influence and affect your body. I think that is just, that's where people are getting messed up. And I have the Joel Freeman Fitness Facebook group page that I created years ago. Just, I think I created right after Quarter Force Live. And so we've got almost 30,000 people in that thing now. And I just let people post, and I just kind of watch it and jump in every now and then. But I'm watching what people post every single day, and they're like, my left toe hurts. What should I do? It's like, go to the doctor. People are so quick to go to social media now for advice and everything for, it's free advice. So I get it. But when it comes to your health and fitness, man, you gotta do the research, and you have to trust the people who have put that time and effort into it. And so with that said, I'm like, okay, we put the time and effort into creating a program, LIIFT4, that is all encompassing, that does work. So the questions I get, like, well, do I need, is it enough cardio? Do I need to add something onto it? I wouldn't create a program and then say, oh, by the way, but you got to do this also. So, it's that's a common sense thing in my book, but it's always not, I understand the thought process behind it. So I think it really just comes down to, like, people, they got to just take some time and do a little research for yourself, so for yourself, versus listening to other people's opinions and stuff. And that's what I try to do is tell people, say, look, if you've been doing something for a while and it's not working, then clearly something about it's not working for you. So it doesn't matter if it's a workout program, doesn't matter if it's a diet aspect of it. So it's like, okay, now you need to switch and change and make some tweaks and not be afraid to do it. And if you're like on the workout train, you're like, hey, I'm trying to do this program. It's 7 days a week and I'm only able to get, 3 or 4 days out of it. What do you think I should do? I think what I'm going to tell you. And it's to say you need to change up what you're doing, because it's clearly not working.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I think even you were at the gym, in the gym world, and you probably saw the typical guy like me walking in. I got the gym membership, got the low basic one, didn't want the trainer or anything, and guessed my way around the equipment, and then would just, waste a lot of time. I think that was the appeal to me with the home workout stuff. I just needed somebody to walk me through, and once I trusted the process, the results came. And so I think when you can do the research or have a mentor, a proven mentor, or a trainer get you through, that can be a big thing. So that's why I'm glad you're part of the family. It's really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. And look, it was like the gym world is where I grew up in this industry, and I still love it. There's so much good out there in having gyms around you, and but look, there's some people that are geographically isolated that don't have a gym close to them, or they can't afford a gym membership, like whatever those reasons are. But if you're going to a gym, this not to ever say, and look, we've got enough people going around. There's enough people that need to get in shape to go around to go to the gym and also still work out at home. This is not a competition, and it's also a convenience thing. I mean, like, I've done the research, and we did the numbers. We crunched the numbers in the gym world. The gym industry knows these numbers of how many times people check in on an average weekly basis. And it's not people think, oh, yeah, I go to the gym 5 times a week. Average check-ins are only usually between 3 and 4 days a week, and 4 is top. Because you have to think about that additional steps that need to be taken to actually get to the gym. You have to get all your stuff together. You have to get in your car. You have to drive to the gym. You have to check in. You have to work out. So there's a lot of extra steps, and that doesn't always work out, especially if you have children and other influencing factors. So average check-ins are just as much of how many times people work out on average every single week anyway, which is some of the research that I use to create that's how we got to the 4 days a week of saying, look, this is what is average. This is what is doable. And with that, this is what you can do to get the best possible results in these 4 days. So that's where that came from, just as FYI. And it's, it's not to say to take away from the gym world. It's not to say that one thing is better. And I get coached all the time, like, well, what would you say to, how do you get someone who's working out at the gym to want to work out at home? I'm like, I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to waste my breath. I'm not like, they're already working out. They're happy. If it's working for them, great. Now, if they come to me and say, I can't get to the gym, what can I do? Then we'll have that conversation. But considering 80%, we're still having the same conversations. 80% of the population is sitting on their ass at home right now. Those are the people we should be going after, not the people who are already exercising. So I know that feels like low hanging fruit, but we got to go after the barriers and the people who have those excuses first.
I agree. And I'm in an apartment now, so doing plyo, anything, doesn't make the neighbors downstairs too well, but we have an incredible gym downstairs, and I find taking and streaming the workouts, I still take my trainer with me, and can do that over in the corner. They have a huge TV in a group fitness room that rarely anybody uses, and I use Chromecast and pop it up there, and it works really well.
Technology, people need to be taking more advantage of technology to do that stuff and get past the stigma that it's embarrassing or doing that. And it's cool. I love getting messages from people who say they download their bod workouts. You can download it ahead of time, and they took it to the gym, and then they actually had someone come up to them being like, hey, what are you doing? Because I tell you what, like when you walk into a gym and you do a LIIFT4 workout and you get in and out in 37 minutes and you're smashed, and then you keep doing it and you start seeing results, and the people who are there for 2 hours every day because they do 10 reps and they check their phone and Instagram for an hour and they do another 10 reps, like you're going to get way more results way faster than they ever will. And they're going to notice. People are going to notice that. And so I tell coaches, like, that's actually not a bad business opportunity, is to go in there, and because people are going to ask you what's going on. But like, yeah, you got to use technology, like use technology to your advantage now. Like we don't do DVDs anymore for a reason, because it's not, besides not even cost effective. You can't take that big flip up DVD player to a gym. No one's going to do that, but you can take this sucker to the gym and just set it up in the corner, and there you go, man. Just like you're talking about, Perry, it's that easy, and people need to be taking advantage of it more.
It works really well. And even if the phone's too small, you know what? The phone's big enough to get the idea of what the move is and to hear the trainer.
It's big enough. And it's also, that's one of the other reasons too, that we filmed it the way we did, where it is all coaching in LIIFT4. And you could, in theory, we call it, we call it blind coaching, to where the idea is to be able to coach through a move well enough to be able to do it without actually seeing the breakdown of it, to watch the video. And this is something that we, practice, and we coming into the workouts and always kind of think about, like saying, okay, am I coaching this well enough to where if someone can't see this, because that is reality as well, we want to, we try to go after everyone. So if someone is blind and they can't see this, can they still do these moves? And that's, so in theory, you could technically just listen to the workout and still be able to get a pretty good, safe, effective workout out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's a few of our trainers that really do well at that. I didn't know there's a special term for it, but I love it. Shalene Johnson's really good at that too. Let's see. Do you do it outside of the fitness world? I know we're all talking about fitness here, but What do you love to do? Obviously travel.
We've been traveling a bit, which has been great. Wifey and I bought a house late last year.
And you're recently married, like within the past couple of years?
Yeah, we're going to September. September's what, 3 years, babe? Yeah, sounds right. 3 years.
Congrats.
Huh? Just making sure. 3 years in September we've been married, and then we bought a house at the end of, so we moved in end of last year into a house, and so it's been fun. Doing construction. My father's a carpenter, so it's been fun to find projects and break things and fix them again. And it is an older house, so, it was renovated, but you still find those things, and so that's been fun. So we're redoing the front and the backyards right now. That's a headache, but we're excited about that. And then it's just what else do I do? I like to golf. I like to box. I mean, boxing is definitely, getting back into that has been a lot of fun. So that's definitely a passion of mine. And then I don't know, somehow the days just fill up, man. And you're by the time you wake up, you have breakfast, you get your workout in, you answer a bunch of emails. I'm on social media so much. I mean, that is where I live, and that's because that's where I can connect with people on a daily basis. And so that's where I make sure I spend a lot of my daily time answering messages and just engaging people. I mean, a like goes so far in the world of social media right now. So I definitely try it. I don't have anybody doing it for me. I don't have a bot. I don't have any auto like or anything like that. So if you get a like from me, I'm on it right now, man. Like I'm blowing the phone up and killing it. So that's what I do. And then, we're starting to try to travel a little bit more and go check out things that we've always wanted to do and hang out with my boys and just cruising, man.
That's cool. Well, that's a lot of fun. I mean, that's keeps life, the spice in life. And so I catch your travels. Well, I catch your social media stuff all the time too. So anyway, I've got a few. If you're still open to answer a few questions, I had some people. I said I've got Joel that's coming on the podcast. What questions do you have? So I'm just gonna read a couple to you, and some of them you probably already alluded to. But okay, this one's from my buddy Martin. My big question would be for the runners out there. How to get that six-pack, but also put on some weight. I burn so many calories with the running, almost look sick when I'm done training for a marathon. To find that balance where you're gaining but looking good while you're doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I tell you what, runners, that is a challenge. That's kind of like that kind of goes back to what I was talking about when I was teaching so many group exercise classes. Look, you're just a calorie burning machine at that point. You're also from a muscular training perspective, not a lot of runners do a lot of weightlifting. And for several reasons. Number one, just from overtraining, fear of overtraining. Number two, just because they're also trying to train their muscles to do certain things. So it's a different type of muscle fiber as well between type 1 and type 2. But what I tell people who are running, you should be lifting because muscles make us move. That's the reality of it. Everything that we do right now, this is all because of the muscles. It has nothing to our bones create our structure, the joints and the tendons hold it all together, and the muscles create the movement. It's that simple. And unless you're trying to be the fastest marathon runner on the planet or an endurance athlete, which you've seen those guys on TV, they're rail thin and they could run for years. It feels like. Which I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't run. So if I run for 30 seconds, I'm out of breath. So it's a different style of training. But if you're in the middle of the road, I truly think that LIIFT4 still works for you because there's so many proven benefits from the weightlifting component of the 3 sets of 10, the hypertrophy training. So you're going to get a little bit of muscle growth and build. But then when we go into the HIIT aspect of it, the high intensity interval training, there's so much research behind what that does for your oxygen consumption, your heart. It makes your heart work better, for lack of a better way of saying it. There's just so many benefits to HIIT training. And even in the LIIFT4 program itself, Samara, Sam, the little blonde mom, she's a runner. And just in doing LIIFT4, she shaved off time from her runs she's like, oh my God, I never realized like how important it was to weight training. And the programming itself, if you're, usually runners run 3 times a week on average, I believe. And, every other week-ish, could be wrong, but every week or every other week you run, your longer runs, 12 to 13 miles. So I tell people, look, just move the calendar around. So if you're running on Saturday, that just means you don't do a leg day on Friday. Move it earlier in the week, kind of, use your common sense on this. But like for 4 days a week training, you got to do it. And I think you're going to see some really surprising results if you do it.
Good advice. I'm not a runner either, but so I'm a triple bear guy now.
Okay, good on you guys. For everyone that runs, my father used to run. He ran the LA Marathon a few times. I tried to do it. I tried to train one time. I got like a mile 5. I'm like, this sucks. I'm done.
I gotcha, man. Okay, this one comes from Debbie. Shout out to you, Debbie. I've been seeing and hearing more and more that as we age, heavy cardio isn't as effective as it was when we were younger. What will your workouts look like in your 50s, 60s, and 70s?
Heavy cardio. What will my workouts look like in 50s? Honestly, the way they look now that's the short answer to it. Yeah. So the thing to remember as you age, as you continue to age, weightlifting becomes more important than it was when you're in your 20s and 30s. Like, again, we're talking about, like, I said earlier, in your 20s, get away with everything. It feels like you could, you know, and I think about it, like you eat an entire pizza and you still lose weight. You know, your metabolism is just rocking at that point. But as you age, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, as you age, look, your metabolism slows down. Things slow down. Your body begins to, if you don't lift weights, your muscles begin to atrophy. You know, we're fighting gravity every single day. There's just so much behind it, and that again goes into, so like, yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why, yeah, you in is your body's aging, you don't want to go heavy cardio and high impact as much. But if you're doing weightlifting, that's, and especially for women with osteoporosis prevention, it just becomes more and more apparent. And that's the thing, is if you do it now, and that's why I'm doing this now, and that's why I'm continuing to. And so definitely, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, I see myself doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now, because it's holding me together and it's keeping my metabolism running. And it's not beating up my body. And I think that's the big thing, because I did for 10 years, I beat up my body in terms of overtraining and just teaching too much and doing too much at one time. And I have, you know, I'm still have to do, you know, shots for nerve damage in my back and things like that because of that. So now I train smart. I train for longevity, and that's the LIIFT4 style of training. And the boxing stuff is very low impact. It's not high impact workout. Boxing is transverse plane of movement. That's rotational plane of movement. That's strengthening my core every single time I do it. So that's why I train the way I do, because I'm going for long term, versus like fit now, pain later. I'm just going for fit forever.
Way to plan for.
Ooh, that was good. I like that hashtag.
Way to plan for your future. What's our hashtag? Our hashtag is, let's tell our last
hashtag. People. Yeah, write it down, people.
Write it down. Yeah, they're really cool. You just, you know, I'm thinking LIIFT4 core to force hybrid of some sort. There's probably somebody's invented a calendar out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, some of the calendars I've done has the core to force workouts in there, and it's pretty simple. People ask, like, you know, there's not an official one, but it's pretty simple. If you're doing LIIFT4 4 days a week, and you've got 3 rest days, and you want to get like a 6-day a week out of it, then you just take the MMAs and you just throw an MMA workout on those other days. So you're basically getting your 4 days, and then you don't have to do a full body. You don't have to do a leg hit. You can just bring in a weightlifting every single week. You know, pick your weeks, and then just get that little extra cardio bump and transverse plane of movement, that core control movements in core to force 2 days a week. It's that easy.
That may be my lead into Summit, because this week is week 8. With finishing week 8 of LIIFT4. So okay, let's see. What is Jennifer? For those who don't have access to heavier weights, will that affect our weight muscle gain by continuing rounds? For example, all I have is 10-pound weights and my resistance bands for the time being.
Yeah, it's not going to affect you adversely if you don't have heavier weights. That definitely is a challenge for people who work out at home. From a space standpoint, from a price standpoint, you know, weights are expensive, and you know, so there's a couple of things with that. Yeah, the resistance bands, they do work. They don't replace weights by any means, but they can help you still get a good resistance workout out of it. So the thing to remember is no, it won't affect you adversely, but you're not going to see really much more increase past that in terms of your strength, because the only way to increase your strength is to challenge your muscles and to lift heavier. So you're not that you'll plateau, as long as your nutrition is in check. You won't necessarily plateau, and you won't you won't not get more, you won't get fitter or not get fitter, if there's a double negative there. But it's about really trying to challenge yourself. And I would do everything I can to try to find a way to get heavier weights into your life. You know, if you're in an area where you don't have a gym close to you, because, you know, the thing is too, if you have a gym area, it doesn't matter like how nice it is, what equipment they have. Every gym has dumbbells. So even if it's, you know, like Planet Fitness is $10 a month. If there's a Planet Fitness close to you, just go join it and then go stream it and go do your workout in the corner. Like there's those stretching areas that you can do it. I mean, there's just so many ways around it. And then, you know, Amazon makes everything possible these days as well. So, you know, look at the option of like the Power Blocks, the Select Techs that, you know, there's a little bit of a cost up front with that to buy them. But then you have a nice weight selection all the way up to 50 pounds, and the 1090s go up to 90 pounds. So you can still do that. And so I would just try to be a little creative and plan ahead and try to get some heavier weights in your life.
Good tip. We just bought our third set of Selectex because ours didn't get moved here from Boise. So yeah, it's nice. I get down to the gym, great selection, but boy, you can't beat just having it right there. So, and Jennifer is like in totally rocking shape. So, like, awesome. Where are you going to take things with that question? But anyway, all right. So my friend Kirsty from the UK, it's like, is Joel already brainstorming anything for LIIFT4 2?
I'm always brainstorming, and we're always working on stuff. I can tell you right now, there's probably not going to be a LIIFT4 part 2, sequels and whatnot. You have to think of it from, like it's a company, it's a business. You got to think of it from a monetary standpoint, and that's not necessarily what's going to sell new stuff. It'll make everyone who's already doing LIIFT4 happy, obviously, but the idea is to continue creating programming that will hopefully draw in more and more new people. That's the object of everything we create. Again, it's not about, like when I did LIIFT4, I didn't write LIIFT4 with the mindset of people who are already working out. You guys are already working out. Good for you. I knew we know you're going to do the program. It's for that 80% of the population that have those excuses. Those are who we're going after. So any program moving forward, that's going to be the same mentality that I have of saying, okay, I'm creating this program because, okay, that didn't work. Maybe this will work. And that's what this is. So, never say never, but that's where it stands right now. And anything moving forward is going to be saying, okay, cool. LIIFT4 you weren't really into. What about this? Maybe you're into this, and maybe you're into this, and then maybe that'll morph into like, okay, maybe then that will be someone, then they'll try LIIFT4. So I just tell people like right now, it's like, look, just keep spreading the message of it, and the flexibility, how realistic this program is how you're going to get people into it, to try it, to maybe then stick with it, and then that will morph into something else.
Yeah, I love that. There's many onboarding programs that lead to big things. I'm surprised at some of the people that just got started on a basic program of some sort. They ramped up their skills, and now they've gone on to do big things, whether it's running marathons or 10K or rock climbing, or my friend got on ski patrol because she was just too much weight for skiing for many years, to just other possibilities. So, keep pushing forward, people, because you don't know where things are going to go. All right. Yeah. I just have a couple others. My friend Barb, are you okay with time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Making sure. So my friend Barb said, what would you recommend to someone who's really trying to build muscle, but just can't see any progress?
These are just not lifting heavy enough.
Okay.
That's to be honest with you, like, building muscle is not as complicated as everyone makes it out to be. Just like, I like to oversimplify things because I do believe there's a lot of things out there that are overly complicated. And when it comes to building muscle, look, muscle grows or it shrinks. That's it. It doesn't bulk. Like there's nothing else to it. Like, so it grows or it shrinks. And the only way to grow it is to challenge your muscle fibers and make them work harder. So weightlifting, when you lift weights heavier than your body's used to, it challenges your muscles, breaks them down. And then when they are regenerating, growing, they grow back stronger. And that's building muscle. That's it. And then you have to feed your muscles. So there's also comes down to the fact of giving, your body the protein that it needs, the fuel that it needs, which is protein. Protein is muscle build, is the synthesis to build muscle. You have to have it. And a lot of people are not getting the protein that they need into their bodies. Minimum 30% of protein of your daily macros to give your muscles what it needs. So it really is that simple. You got to lift heavier and you got to give your body protein.
Cool.
I really believe that's simple.
Okay, and that was from Barb and Abby. Abby had a similar question. So that leads me into, is it more protein within your eating, or I know people take pre and post workout supplements, nighttime supplement stuff. Does that have a big impact in your opinion with muscle development, muscle growth?
Well, it's just another piece of the puzzle. And the way, so like post work, recover. Yeah. So I do recover. I do recharge at night. and that goes towards my total daily protein intake. It is challenging, so if you're going off your macros, which most nutrition plans, the LIIFT4 nutrition plan is based on balanced macros. Almost every nutrition plan in the Beachbody program library is based on balanced macros. It just is, unless you start messing with the carbs and stuff, which we kind of did in quarter force. And I think Shift Shop did it a little bit too, but the nutrition, even the portion fix containers are based on that too. So it's not new. It's just not talked about as much. With the protein intake though, 30% of your daily macros of protein is a lot. And it's not you normally can't get that much from just your food intake alone. That's why, and it's just the same thing. That's why they're called supplements, because you need to supplement your diet to get these added nutrients, whether it be Shakeology to get all the other stuff that comes with it. But Shakeology is not a protein shake. It's a dense nutrition shake. It has all the other things, but Recover and Recharge are specifically protein related drinks. So yeah, and it's just another piece on the puzzle. That's why I do it, because if I didn't take those, then I know I'm not getting enough protein that I need on a daily basis. Number one, to sustain the muscle I have, and number two, to continue to build muscle that I'm going for. So that's a huge piece of the puzzle. You can lift as heavy as you want, but if you're not feeding your muscle, it's not going to happen. But it does come back to, again, making sure that you're challenging yourself with the weights as well. And I see so many people post videos, because I get tagged them every single day, and they're, you're lifting your smaller weights, which is different if what we just talked about. That's all you have. That's all you have is 10 weights. That's fine. But I'm seeing people lift weights that I'm like, you guys, your children weigh more than this. Like, you got to challenge yourself. Your shoes weigh more than some of these dumbbells that you're lifting. So you can't be afraid of it. And as long as you're doing it safely and effectively, it will work. But you got to, it's those two things, heavy weights and the protein aspect of it to get the results.
I think sometimes it's a mindset. I've got I might risk injury, or sometimes I've seen, at least some of the people I've coached has been that. I've got one last question from Michelle. Yeah. Maybe we've already.
And sorry, Perry. And it's also based on the fact that a lot of people are comparing what they did in a previous program, weight related, to this program. You have to remember that every program is different. So if you're doing a specific exercise, let's be clear and honest. Like, so 80-day obsession is just phenomenal program. What Autumn put together is great, but you're doing multi-compounded movements, so you have to go lighter. So if you're doing a curtsy lunge into an overhead press or whatever these things, of course you have to go lighter. LIIFT4 is basic weightlifting 101, hypertrophy training, where you do a shoulder press, that's all you do. So we're going right after those muscles. So that it's a different style of training and enables you to go heavier. So you really want to be careful of comparing what you did in this program to what you can do in another program, because it's totally different.
Fantastic tip. That was worth the price of entry right there. Okay, Michelle, one last question here, and then I'm going to turn you loose to go and reconstruct your house or whatever. Breakfast. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking to drop 25 pounds, and I feel it's my nutrition that is messing me up. Any suggestions on the best nutrition to help me reach my goal of losing weight while lifting weights? Doing LIIFT4 to be exact. That's Michelle.
You gotta cut the crap. It's that simple. I mean, look, if you want, there are certain things, again, I'd like to oversimplify nutrition as well. And, with the LIIFT4 nutrition plan, we did what we called it a cheat day. And that's how I live my life. And that's also that's based on consistent training, consistent living. So I really do believe if you behave for 6 days a week, and you cut the crap for 6 days, and you really work on getting your protein and balance your macros and eating well and working out, and then that one day you loosen the reins, doesn't mean go absolutely crazy and just eat everything all day, but if you loosen the reins a little bit, then yes, you will see results. And that's based on consistency and long term. If you have a specific goal, then this goes into, like, anytime I ever do a diet bet or anything like that, if you have a specific goal, and you're doing, okay, at 8 weeks, I want to do this, or if I want to lose 25 pounds, then there has to be a reciprocal of saying, I want to lose 25 pounds, so this is what I have to do. And that means cut the shit. You have to stop eating. So the 80-20 rule doesn't apply here. The 90-10 rule, whatever it is, that doesn't apply when you have a specific goal that you're going for, because then it's counteracting. Now, for me, I don't have a specific goal right now, except for I want to maintain what I have and enjoy my life and stay fit. So I can do my 6-in-1. I can have my bourbon and my burgers. I had fantastic cheeseburger last night. It was awesome. But that's because that's where I'm at right now. I'm in like almost like my maintenance. And, you know, even if there's like 5 to 10 pounds, which I never get on the scale, but if I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little fluffy around the midsection, then I know what I got to do. It's not a mystery. So I think if you're on that and you're saying, I want to do this, which is I want to lose 25 pounds, the next part of that's not the period of the sentence. It has to be a comma. I want to lose 25 pounds. So I'm going to do this. And you have to be realistic in that. So that's my tip, is be honest and real with yourself and understand that the 90-10, the 80-20, whatever you're living, the 6-in-1, that won't apply if you're going for a specific goal right now. Once you hit that goal, then you can bring it back. But you also just have to remember too, of finding what is sustainable long-term. So you don't want to kill yourself to lose 25 pounds, because in the minute you do that, then you go right back and gain possibly 30. So we don't want to yo-yo back and forth. You want to find something that will consistently get you there and then help you keep it long-term.
It comes across in a book I'm reading, Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read that, but the guy saying, who do I need to become? Who do I need to think like moving forward so I can achieve those results? You know, will a healthy person make this choice? You know, will a fit person that I'm looking to become make these choices along the way? And you've got to question yourself and really do that. So very cool. Joel,
yeah, I mean, look, there's things that I know that if I want to be super shredded, I can't eat that cheeseburger last night. Like that's just the reality of it. But I like cheeseburgers and I like bourbon and I like beer. And so I find this is my middle where I'm still fit, still feel good about myself. I still feel good naked. My wife still likes me. So that's my middle ground. And, you know, but if I want to be the super shredded 6-pack, I know what I have to do, but that's my choice because it takes out the things that I enjoy.
That's awesome. Joel, you have given this show so many tips, and it's really great to hear your story. And so happy that you're one of our super trainers. Can't wait to work out with you again at Summit. I've worked out with you several times there. Was toward the front row last year, and then you were here in Minneapolis just the week after. Yeah. So that was really awesome there.
Yeah,
but so glad to have you on here.
I got to come back up there during the summer, man. It was gorgeous up there.
Oh yeah. Where can people find you again?
Joel Freeman Fitness on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm always posting about, I always have the links to where I'm going for the next super weekends in the bio and the link tree in my bio and Instagram. So I'm heading back up to Canada after Summit. I think it's Quebec City, closer to Montreal, but it's Quebec City and then Dallas. That's at the end. But yeah, we hit Summit. It's less than a month away, man. It's going to be awesome. The workout's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, you know, coming out of this without food poisoning this time, and we'll have a good time.
Yikes. That doesn't sound, yeah. Here's to better days on that one. All right, Joel, thanks so much. You have yourself a great day. Hi to your wife there, and we'll see you on social and at Summit.
All right. Thanks, Perry, man.
Bye. Wasn't that awesome? So glad to have him here. I'm going to have to go back and watch this a couple times or listen to it a few times because Joel just shared so amazing tips and ideas and things that I think a lot of us we're overcomplicating a lot of things, and it really boils down to just keeping things simple, finding out what works for you, and doing some really basic daily habits. And speaking of daily habits, download my free cheat sheet at morningsuccesshabits.com. 14 great habits to get you focused, fired up, increase your productivity each and every day. That's morningsuccesshabits.com. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's podcast. It was just super great. Hope you can get this podcast in your podcast app. Maybe go on and give an honest rating or review. That would help us reach more people. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.